All right. Tough week last week. I was again very proud of our football team and the way we competed, uh, the way for the majority of the game that we really operated. That being said, obviously you look at the tape. There's things we can continue to do better, things that we have to do better in certain situations. But overall, I thought our team gave us an opportunity late. That's what we wanted. We did some things that we really focused on throughout the week. Thought we did a better job offensively, starting fast. I thought our defense, especially early, just finding ways to get off the field. Offensively, we found ways to stay on the field. I mean, converted, I think, two third and long situations and a third and short situation in the first drive to go down and get points there early. I see growth in our football team across the board. Obviously, we're not where we want to be, not where we need to be yet, but I see the vast improvement that we've made up to this point. Now we still got to continue to get better, and I think again we still haven't reached our ceiling, and opportunities are there to continue to grow. So we got to go out on the practice field today, get an opportunity to schematically look at some different things because Arkansas State is coming in here with a really talented team. Their coaching staff with Butch Jones and his staff, they've got a great staff. They're very well coached. They play very physical, and we've got to be prepared and ready for the challenge that's going to happen this weekend.
Coach, you mentioned that growth offensively. It seems like taking a couple of steps at a time here. What's next for the offense? So we've seen flashes of brilliance from all of it. How do you kind of put it all together and bring about some consistency, that maybe hasn't been displayed quite yet?
Yeah, honestly, the other night I thought we were fairly consistent. I thought we moved the ball against a really good defense in a tough place. I thought we moved the ball pretty effectively, but consistency is probably the word that needs to be used. Just being more machine-like offensively, capitalizing on opportunities when we have them. And we've got to get our run game kind of going a little bit more. I thought our run game in game one was really good, and then the last couple of weeks, now against tough defenses, I might add, but we haven't run the ball as effectively as we wanted to. I think our passing game has grown, and I think the connection between Davis and our receivers and just the amount of reps and the time that they're spending together and just getting that timing, that takes a little time throughout a season to get there. I think we've made some positive steps in that direction. So I'm pleased to one extent of the progress that we've made, but obviously we still got a ways to go to get it to where we want it to be.
With Davis,
go ahead.
With Davis, based on, the opener, it would have been very difficult for any of us to imagine him going into the horseshoe and throwing for 400 yards. I know your perspective's a little different, but how has he progressed through the season, and how was he able to, make such great improvement, I suppose, in just a.
Well, I think more than anything, game one, there was a lot of expectations going into it. And, I think he was pressing a little bit. I think he's gotten back to who he really is, which is, taking what they give us, doing a good job of processing information, getting the ball out of his hands. I thought he did a really good job the other day of doing that, reading things out correctly. And I think our receivers, just him and the receivers getting on the same page from the standpoint of, hey, this is where I'm going to sit down. This is what I'm looking at when I see this coverage. And just, that connection is, you're working on it in practice and you see it in practice, but to see it translate now into a game and for those guys to be on the same page, that was good to see. So I think he's working within himself. I think he's working within our offense and really being smart about how he's distributing the football.
related to that, if obviously you want the run game to have more success, but seeing what you've seen from Davis and the receivers, how much maybe better do you feel about your offense, knowing that, well, if the run game, isn't quite, if the options aren't always there, we have, we can throw 50 passes in a game and have some success there.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that and you got to understand too. I mean, that box was pretty full the other night. They gave us a lot of different looks that we hadn't seen on tape from the standpoint of a lot more movement, a lot more pressure. I mean, this is a team that up to that point had only pressured 16% of the time going into that game. All of last year, over the total season, the percentages were only 20% for the total season. As you look at our game, it's closer to 50, if not a little bit higher in the amount of pressures and different looks that they gave us. So, that box was heavy and a lot of people in it. I think we did find some running lanes, especially later in the game. Probably some of that to my fault in the sense of, our passing game was kind of clicking and I was leaning on it. And I thought Davis and those receivers were doing a nice job. Our O-line was doing a nice job of protecting. And so with the box heavy, we were going to go in that direction. So, but I do feel like as an offense, we are growing. And I know the run game is going to come. It's there. We just got to continue to keep plugging at it because we got talented guys up front. We got talented guys in the backfield. And when we're balanced is when we're at our best. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity to get the running game going a little bit more this week. But, if they're going to load the box and put a bunch of eyes and hats down in there, then we've got to be able to protect and we got to be able to throw and make plays happen that way.
I guess what I meant is, if you have to lean on your passing game, like you would feel pretty comfortable after what you've seen in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Kelly, I think that's correct. I mean, just the amount of work that they put in, and seeing them do it underneath the lights on big stages against really quality personnel. To see our guys operate at that level, it gives us faith in our passing game to continue to keep growing from there. Yes.
I think every stretch of games is important. That's pretty obvious. But you got 3 in a row now at home after starting the season 0-3. Do you feel like this is a really important, not a really important stretch, they all are, but maybe a more important stretch now that you got 3 straight here at home?
Well, you always want to protect your house, and we want to do a good job here at home. And we need a lot of help from the fans coming out and supporting our football team and our program and our university. But definitely want to do some good things here at home. That being said, this game is the most important game on our schedule because it's the next one. And for us, we're trying to go 1-0 this week. That's our mindset. That's our mantra, if you will. And for us, we've got to find a way to get on the right side of that column. I think our team has improved. I think we've done some good things here and there. But at the end of the day, it's about winning. And we've got to make that happen. And so this week, we've got to do a better job in the fourth quarter. We got to finish some things, and we've given ourselves opportunities, but we got to go finish now.
Yeah, that's been a talking point too for the past couple of seasons, I'd say, is the finishing aspect of things, being close in the fourth quarter and then just not being able to get over the hump. Is that still something that you guys are preaching and harping on every day? And do you feel like you guys have made some progress over the past season or two in that area?
Yeah, I think we definitely made progress. I mean, last year, I think that was our strong suit, is that we finished. We may not have started as well as we wanted to in games, but we dang sure finished. So I don't see it from that standpoint. I see it from us continuing to grow as a team and taking advantage of opportunities. I know this team can do that. I know we will do that. Now we just got to go out and perform it.
Anything different from that last season team that allowed you guys to finish those games that you can point to?
I think it's all about confidence. We got guys that have got to step up and continue to make plays in those situations and you don't know when that play is going to happen. It may be supporting on a run, it may be a big throw, it may be, a certain block, but I know we've got the guys that can do it, that know how to do it, that have done it, and now it's just about taking advantage of it and go making it happen.
Even as you're playing better and making improvement, is there just a little bit different urgency, when the record is 0-3, kind of regardless of who you played and how it's gone down and where your team is at the moment? Does that change, not change the importance of the game, but just kind of the urgency you feel going into it?
I don't know. Caden, I mean, really on that, I mean, every game's important. Does this make it more important seeing what our record is? I don't know that it makes it more important. I mean, it didn't matter if we were, sitting here 3-0, this game was going to be vitally important to us. So, for our guys, it's about locking in, doing the work, putting in the work, and then going out and performing and being the team that I know we can be. I mean, we're a good football team. We just got to go out and prove it on the field and get in the other column.
Ezra had some big catches in that game Saturday. What does he bring to the table? Obviously, he's a bigger bodied receiver, but he just seems to have that physicality that maybe is at another level.
Yeah, I was really, really pleased and with what Ezra did the other day. I mean, he's a guy that hasn't been here very long. He's still learning our offense, but man, did he step up in a lot of big ways. I mean, to play the entire game, really made some timely catches, some big catches, had a big third down conversion on an underneath throw that, he sees the sticks and just kind of puts his shoulder down and goes and gets it. Also made some big blocks for us kind of down the field. But I thought he played extremely well for really the first time getting that amount of reps in a game. I think he obviously showed what he can do and what he's capable of. But I think there's a lot more in his tank that we can get out of it. And again, he's a little bit different than some of the receivers that we have, just with his size and length. And he's got a really good catch radius and a guy that can be a weapon for us and needs to be a weapon for us as we, continue to move forward.
You had several guys get banged up during that game. Keelan didn't play. What is without, getting into too much detail, where are you at injury-wise? Are any of those going to be lingering things moving forward?
Well, hopefully we'll have everybody. That being said, after the last couple of weeks, we are pretty banged up. We'll find out more today when we hit the practice field as guys get out there and we start moving around and seeing where we're at. I feel like we will have the majority of guys back. At what level they're going to be back, we're just going to have to wait and see.
We're talking to Ty Neal today. Maybe if you could, just how he ended up here from out in California and what you saw in him. And also, he's a guy who seems to have a nose for the ball and isn't afraid to stick his nose in there and be physical, kind of regardless of his size, how important he is for your defense.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Neal he's really over the past 2 seasons has played exceptionally well. I mean, a guy that we ask a lot of. I mean, not only does he have to come up and fit and do some things in the box, and he's physical when he does that, but there's some situations from a coverage standpoint that he ends up on an island at times that he's got to play man coverage, and he does an exceptional job of that. So he's got good range, good speed. He's physical. He does a really nice job of communicating back there. He brings a lot of energy. Him and Christian probably bring the most energy when you're kind of talking about that throughout practice, throughout games. But Ty Neal's got that great smile, that bubbling personality that always just he's contagious when it comes to that. But he loves playing this game. And he loves playing it at a high level. And we were fortunate. We saw his tape coming out of junior college. Felt like he would be a good fit for what we were looking for at the time, and obviously that has panned out well. And he's made the most of his opportunities, and excited that he's back on the field with us and playing so well.
I missed maybe a portion of the opening statement, so if you answered this already, I apologize. We talked about after the game that you guys were hoping to take some positives out of the film from Ohio State. It was a loss, but we talked a lot about trying to take positives from losses. Do you feel like you guys and those guys took some positives from it?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that we really talked about as a coaching staff. I mean, we did some really good things throughout that game. Obviously, there's some things that we need to clean up, some things we got to correct, some things that we got to continue to keep coaching extremely hard on. But that being said, I think we, from the passing game standpoint, I thought Davis played extremely well. I thought our offensive line protected well. I thought our receivers really did a nice job of working together, helping each other in certain situations. We played a lot of different people across the board, offensively and defensively, and guys having to get in and step up and to see your guys that are not always your starters to be able to step into games like that, environments like that, and perform at a high level. It was good to see that part of it as well. So we're continuing to grow. But again, we're learning a lot off that tape, good and bad, but you got to take both sides of it. If you just go in there and point out all the stuff that we did wrong or needed to correct, and you don't point out the positive things, your team can, hey, I'm never going to get there. And we got to make sure that we understand where we're at, where we're going, and how we got to get there.
Any other questions for Coach Montgomery?
You have a pretty veteran group, so maybe you're not concerned about this at all. But when a team like Arkansas State, when you know how good they are, but the last thing they put on film was maybe not their best, and I don't know how the 52-3 transpired, but does it concern you at all when, that's part of the film that you guys are looking at? And I mean, that this opponent, probably brings a whole lot more to the table than what, was shown last Saturday?
I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. Obviously, we're sitting here and we're hungry for a win. And if you go back the week before that, Memphis is talented, and they have been talented. You know what type of athlete and coaching staff that they have there. It's 55-50. So, you're going to have to play at a high level. They're going to come in here upset about the way they played last week and ready to try to right a wrong from that standpoint. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we got to be prepared and ready to play. And I think our guys will be with that mindset.
So Ohio State is like one of the bluest of the blue bloods, and that's 100,000. Like, it is different in some way. Was there any aspect of the way your team met the challenge or prepared or one, position group or anything that you were most, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised with, but they met your expectations, in kind of the best way possible last week?
Well, I think as you look at it, our team went up there with the mindset to win. You can take the stadium, you can take the emblem on the helmet, take all those things and put it to the side and look at it from the standpoint of what we have to do in between those white lines, the guy lining up in front of me and trying to win that battle. I was really, really pleased with that part of it, because I thought we handled the situation, the environment, and all of that in a really good fashion. I think we went up there with the mindset of we're coming here to win, and we're going to compete at the highest level. And doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. We're proud of who we are and where we're from, and we're going to lay it out here on the line just like everybody else. That being said, I was really pleased with the way our receivers played the other day. Just as a group, JC moved inside, played outside as well. Sam played on the left, played on the right. Ezra played on both sides. JJ had to play inside and outside. We had a bunch of other guys come in and play in that receiver room and played well. So, as a group, the way they performed, I thought they really stepped up in that situation and performed at a high level as a group.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.